The real problem at Motorola is our quality stinks. Quality is day by day going down. If the quality is day by day going down, that means customer complaints are day by day increasing. That means customer complaint means external rejection. And the internal rejections also increasing. That is that internal failure. So all these things are keep on increasing. So this executive mentioned like this. Then the CEO of Motorola, the Robert Bob Galvin, he threw a challenge, right, to achieve a 10-fold improvement in a span of 5 years. Like in the next 5 years, the company has to achieve 10 times growth in all business related KPIs. The profit maximize, the revenue should increase, and then the customer satisfaction should go up, the market share should improve, and all those things, right? 10-fold growth in the span of 5 years. Then the responsibility was given to two people. One is Bill Smith, one is Michael. So Bill Smith is an engineer, like all of you, and Michael Harry is a statistician. So this engineering brain and the statistical brain, this combination really worked well for Motorola, and helped Motorola and the and its CEO achieve the goal of seeing 10-fold growth in the 5-year span. And moreover, Bill Smith, he published a research paper. In that paper, he mentioned that there is a correlation between the extent of repair a product underwent during manufacturing and its field life. So what is the meaning here? What do you mean by field life? The duration with which a product can work without any complaints. That's a field life, right? And if the repair, what is repair? If there is a defect found in the product and then you correct it. And then you correct it. You do more repair. What will happen to the field life? Can you make a guess? If a product is undergoing several repair before going to the market, can you guess about its field life?
Redo, sir. Redo is cost.
Redoing is cost. Suppose, see, you produce a product right at the first time in an excellent condition. How field life will be for such product? On the other hand, there is another factory. They always produce product with some defects and then correct it and then send it to the market. The first company product will have a higher field life, or the second company products will have higher field life.
The first company will have a
first company. So this was the finding by Bill Smith. He clearly said that if you do lot of rework within your factory, your product quality cannot be great. Why are you doing rework? Because your process has failed. Why your process? You poorly designed it. So the root of the problem is your process capability is weak. So it will frequently fail. And by quality control, you do some gimmick work and then sends those products to the market. Those products may appeal good while buying, but within a short span, they will fail even before the warranty period. This was the finding of Bill Smith, and that is the reason why Bill Smith and Michael Harry were assigned the responsibility to develop a system for Motorola to proactively prevent the defects, and they did it. And Motorola, you all know, it was a $4,000 million company and manpower of a huge manpower, and they were present in more than 30 locations. And long back, they were manufacturing pagers, right? And the problem is quality was stinking, and the motivation for launching of Six Sigma is they wanted to become world leaders in manufacturing of communication products such as pagers and mobile phones. Scenario 2, ABB, right? What do you call the Asia Brown Boveri, a Swedish company in Switzerland. They were into heavy electrical equipment, robotics, and automation related area, right? And they felt an urgent need for a major improvement. You know why? Their performances were below average. Below average in the sense their defect levels were 60% higher than the competitors. See, how are they measuring? When they say 60% higher than the competitor, what is the real meaning? Is that the defect percentage is 60%? Defect percentage is not 60%, but 60% higher than the competitors. See how they are measuring their performance. Their defect levels are already 2%, 3%. But your competitors are able to maintain a defect level of 0.5%. Competitors' defect level is 0.5 and your defect level is 1.5. So they are comparing the defect percentage maintained by the competitor, and that has motivated them to look for further improvement, right? So, and moreover, the competitors' profits were 10% more than ABB. Do you think it's a good situation to allow the competitor to make profit more than our company? They are making their profit and we are making our profit. How it can impact our business?
No, our market share will be slowly eroded.
Very good, right? Very good. That's a good point. If you make less profit and if your competitor makes more profit, then the capacity to invest for the future, will be more for your competitor. So it is very important that you play better than your competitors to stay number one in the market, right? So that your market share can grow. If you don't understand this logic, if you perform poorly compared to your competitor, today you may have a market share of 40%, but definitely after 5 years, 10 years, your market share will come below 10%. Simply because you have not performed better than the competitors, right? So even if you are doing extremely good, it is important for you to compare your performance against your competitor. This is called benchmarking. And another scenario, General Electric. We all know these are all big brands, pioneers. But all of them, they learned a lot of lesson before adopting the Six Sigma. So their turnover is this, their manpower is this, and this particular GE medical system, they were into a scanner manufacturing unit. Their scanner speed was 3 minutes as compared to the faster scanners in the market by the competitor. Those scanners can complete the scanning process in 10 to 30 seconds, but your scanner takes 30 minutes. So this has made them to think, oh, we really have to improve our product quality. Though our product is, today it is good, but it is found inferior compared to the competitors' capability. So they wanted to improve. And moreover, the bulb life, very low. 20 million bulbs were failing even before shipment. And the replacement cost of the bulb is, very huge. So these are the reasons, compelling reasons for General Electric to step into Six Sigma. After seeing the success of Motorola and other companies, General Electric and Motorola, they evolved, they come out with the idea of Six Sigma actually. That happened in somewhere 1987. When Motorola introduced the Six Sigma, it had only 4 phases. MAIC, measure, analyze, improve, and control. But General Electric, they adopted Six Sigma, and in 1995, they improved it. They improved the methodology prescribed by Motorola from 4 phase to 5 phase. Because Motorola's philosophy was, what gets measured gets improved. So they started with the measure phase. But General Electric philosophy was, we must define the problem before measuring it. If you are able to define a problem well, your job is half done, right? So understanding the problem is much more important than measuring. So they added D in front of the MAC, and that's how in 1995 the methodology won, the MAC, and that is what we are trying to master in this training program. So these are the success stories. So because of the systematic approach, towards proactively preventing the defects, Motorola made a saving of $2.2 billion every year and $1 billion saving in non-manufacturing cost. See, there is a clear evidence. You can adopt the philosophies and the principles and tools and techniques you are learning in the manufacturing also, non-manufacturing also. Right at the time of inception, these methodology and principles were used not only in the manufacturing department, but also in the non-manufacturing department. Many a times participants of our program, they ask, sir, whether Six Sigma I can apply. I'm in service. I'm into banking operation. Can I use? Yes. The answer is yes to all of you. Definitely, these principles and methodologies can be used. As long as you are strong on the fundamentals, you will be able to run Six Sigma projects and produce results for your company. And ABB, 68% reduction in the defect level, 30% reduction in the production cost, and $898 million savings each year. And General Electric, and they spent $500 million on supporting the Six Sigma initiative, because Six Sigma initiative that comes with the cost. Before implementing Six Sigma, before doing even one project, you have to make sure you keep the people. If people do not know what is Six Sigma, people do not know what is a defect, people do not know what is variation, how to measure variation. The metric that can measure variation is sigma, standard deviation, a statistical measure. All of us have studied standard deviation in 7th standard. What is this standard deviation is telling us, and how can I look at the standard deviation and understand the problem that is going on in the company, right? So it requires some investment. The investment is not buying equipment. Investment is mainly on equipping your people on the Six Sigma methodology and the principles and tools. So they spent around $500 million and got back $2 billion in just a span of 1 year, and $12 billion in the next 5 years. So these are the success stories and application for all the other companies. Now you see any brand, they will be big brand because they respected all these philosophies which we learned so far. You give importance to quality, give importance to the customer focus, give importance to the process approach, be systematic, right? Synergize your resource and all those things. If you follow, and your company will be big brand. So what is Six Sigma? Six Sigma is an operational excellence model. What is operational excellence model? The thirst to be better than the competitors. If you really want to be better than your competitor, then your approach is operational excellence. You should not settle with what you are currently doing. You must study what is happening in the market and try to be 1% better in the market than your competitor. Then your approach is operational excellence. Certain things you need to benchmark, certain things you need to be creative and innovative. By all means, you should stand number 1 in the market, right? So it's an operational excellence model. It is an aggressive campaign to boost profitability, to increase market share, improve customer satisfaction, and achieve everything using quality as the strategic business focus. That's why we started with the session on quality. The benefit is customer satisfaction, cost reduction, legal compliance. See, you must make profit at the same time without violating any legal requirements, right? You have to promptly pay the taxes and follow the guidelines and everything, and still you should be able to maximize your profit, right? And these are the benefits. So Six Sigma basically aims at progressively and continually adding value by reducing the variability. We'll see more deeper about each and every word. So what is Six Sigma? It's a management philosophy to meet the business objective by reducing variation. A disciplined data-driven methodology for decision making and process improvement. Always we look for data, right? And to improve the performance, we need to decrease the variation and the defects. If you say you want to improve the performance, it means you must reduce the defect. If you say you must reduce the defect, then you must reduce the variation. Variation is the root of the problem. And see here, there are two processes. Process generally or normally follows a distribution called normal distribution. We'll see what is normal distribution today after the lunch, post-lunch session. Though post-lunch will be heavy, it is going to be very, very useful, right? We'll talk about normal distribution today afternoon. The normal distribution is nothing but a distribution in the form of a bell shape. You see here, it looks like an inverted bell. And now there are two things you need to understand. Where is the peak happens in the curve? The peak happens in the curve at the center. That means most of your outputs are falling here. That is the meaning. Another important feature or characteristics of the curve, you must look at it, the spread of the curve. This curve, you can understand it is spreaded heavily on both sides when compared to the other curve on the right side. Here the peak is at the center. Here the peak is better than the previous one. Here the peak is better than the previous one. That means you are getting more outputs falling around the peak value. You are getting more output falling around the peak value, and the spread on both sides, right side as well as left side, are small compared to this process. So spread is less, and the peak is very high. This means the variation is very low here. And now if you draw the specification limit, generally specification limit, RK also mentioned about it, are provided by the customer. When I draw the specification limit in the first graph, do you see a portion of the graph going beyond the specification limit? Yes. So what the customer will do when you go beyond his limits, he is going to reject the product. Whatever you delivered will come back to your factory. Right? That means the capability of the process is considered to be low if it is wider. Clear? For a given specification by the customer, if the spread of the process is wider, that's a reflection of your capability. Your capability is weak. You are going to have rejection. So this spread is measured in terms of the standard deviation. There is a metric called standard deviation. I will teach you how to calculate the standard deviation also. Higher the standard deviation, higher will be the spread. Lower the standard deviation, lower will be the spread. I reduce the standard deviation, the curve will change like this. No, the extreme points will start approaching the center. Extreme points start approaching the center, the curve will become narrower. The same curve will become taller. Now you will be happy to see major percentage of the output falling inside the specification. Major percentage, close to 100%. Literally, customer cannot reject a single product which you are supplying. Now your capability has increased heavily. That means when you understand all these statistical concepts, so you need to have full clarity on what is normal distribution. What is there in the center? We call it central tendency. Nothing but the average. All of you know what is average. Simply add the number, divide by the number of items. That is the average. That average will appear here at the center. And then calculate the standard deviation. If the standard deviation is higher, your process will look like this. If your process will look like this, what kind of organization you are running, you yourself will get to know. An organization which is highly capable will run process like this. An organization which is running a process of low capability will run process like this. This is what we measure in terms of sigma level. Here the sigma levels are low. We call the process as 2 sigma process. 2 sigma process means, looking at the graph, you can understand about 90% of the products are safe, but 10% of the products are getting rejected. Here, coming here, 6 sigma process, almost close to 100% of the products are safe. A small fraction of the products are going to get rejected. So this is what is sigma level. We will dive deeper into normal distribution, average, the central tendency, and the variation, the standard deviation, and all those things today afternoon, and be ready for it. And that means the goal is first time right always. We wanted to always produce output meeting the customer specification. Take care of the process will take care of your results. That is the philosophy we all must follow. So that our goal is less waste, less rework, reduced cost, greater predictability. What is predictability? If you understand the distribution, if your process follows normal, trust me, most of the process naturally follow normal distribution only. If you understand the nature of the distribution, you can predict what can happen tomorrow, what can happen next week, or what can happen next year. You will be able to judge like an astrologer the moment you understand normal distribution properly. If the curve is like this, then I will tell you what will happen. How much is going to be the rejection, how much is going to be the profit, and all those things, right? So greater predictability happens, and the consistency can also be understood. Consistency means the curve should be narrower. If your curve is wider, then outputs are varying too much. If the outputs are varying too much, there is no consistency in your output, right? So consistency can be judged, predictability can be improved, and as a result, you can keep your customers happier. This is what is Six Sigma. We will slowly go deeper and deeper, and then you will understand everything, every bit and piece of the Six Sigma. So the foundation of Six Sigma is any problem which any of you facing in your factory. For me, as a Six Sigma expert, it is a problem related to certain number. The number may be the dimension of the product. The number may be the strength of the material. The number may be your profit. The number may be the delivery time. The number may be the customer satisfaction score. For me, everything is a number. As long as I understand, as long as I can see every problem in the form of a number, I can literally solve problem of any industry. Right? Any real-time problem can be converted into a statistical problem. What is statistical problem? Your numbers are not healthier. What are your number? Maybe the KPI, maybe certain metric, key performance indicators and metrics. All KPIs are metrics, but not all metrics are KPIs. So what is a KPI? KPI helps you to understand in which direction you are performing. Are you moving in the correct direction towards your goal? Are you towards attainment of your goal or not? That KPI only can let you know. But metric just tells you whether the level is as per requirement or not, right? So the lower level metrics are generally called as metric. However, certain higher level metrics can help you to judge on your progress towards the goal. Only such metrics are called KPIs, right? So a real-time problem is converted into a number problem. We call it statistical problem. So what is a number problem? Just calculate two things from the number. One is central tendency, another one is variation. What is central tendency? Average. How is the training program going on? I will look at the average mark of all of you. That's all. All of you are writing the exam. I calculate the average mark. If the average mark itself is very bad, I can conclude the training is worst. If the average itself is 95, I can conclude the training is fantastic. At the same time, in order to trust the average, I should also look at the variation in the data. Because average sometimes can mislead you. 40 and 60, I take the average, it is 50. 40 and 60, when I take the average, it is 50. 30 and 70, I take the average, that is also 50. So looking at the average alone sometimes will mislead you. That is why you should look at the variation in your data. So how to measure the variation? Calculate the standard deviation. Standard deviation is low. Average will speak better about reality. When the standard deviation is low, that means, all of you are scoring, between 50 to 60. All of you are scoring between 50 to 60. Now the average is 55. I conclude the training is also, an average level. That is true. All of you are also, around this average score of 55. So the variation can only validate your average. When variation is low, your average is validated. When variation is high, you can understand your average is trying to mislead you. Right? So the statistical problem is not having a healthier average, not having a healthier standard deviation. Correct both of them. Upfront, I will tell you, the solution is nothing but reduce the standard deviation. Reducing standard deviation will help you to achieve the required consistency. What is consistency? Getting the same result. Getting the same result, consistently you may produce good, consistently you may produce bad. Standard deviation low means consistency is achieved. Now look at the average. If the average is on the target, you are not only consistent, you are consistently good. Right? So there are two goals. One is reduce the variation. Another thing is get the central tendency on the target. We will dive deeper into this statement today afternoon. But how will you move the average? How will you reduce the variation? Are you going to talk to the numbers and make the things in a magical way? No. You need to work in the field. You need to look at the process that can produce those numbers. Understand the process which is actually producing those numbers. Try to improve the process. That is called practical solution. So fundamentally, you are going to improve a certain process. You improve the process, that is the practical solution. How do you know process is really improved? You will be able, that will reflect in your standard deviation and the average, right? So this is called a Six Sigma way of problem solving. If you cannot express what you know in numbers, take it granted, you do not know what you are currently doing. If you are not able to express your performance in the form of numbers, it simply means you really do not know what you are currently doing in the organization. If you say you are responsible for a process, then you should be able to express the performance of the process using certain numbers. If you are not able to do it, you have a long way to understand what you are actually currently doing in the organization. You have a long way to understand your responsibility. Okay. If you do not know much about it, tell me how can you control? If you are not able to express in terms of numbers, it means you do not know about it. If you do not know about it, then tell me how can you control it? If you cannot control it, then you are at the mercy of God. You have to depend on God for the results to happen in your favor, because you are really not having the control over it, right? So this approach is called Six Sigma, and this is what introduced by Bill Smith and Michael Harry. So numbers are absolutely required, and if you can express a problem in the form of number, then you can confidently say you have understood the problem. If you have understood the problem, now you are ready to measure it. Now you are ready to control it. If you can control it, then you can actually control your results. And this is not a simple task, to make people do this. And achieving operational excellence. What is operational excellence? The entire organization should have the clear understanding, of what they want to achieve. Starting from security till the CEO, all right? Or starting from the operator till the CEO level, everybody should know what the company is want to achieve in the next few years. That's called operational excellence. If you really wanted to produce such good transformation in your organization over the next 3 years or 5 years, please understand it is going to be a monumental task. You alone cannot do that, right? You must involve everyone in the process. And then everyone must be trained to certain level. Everyone must be trained to certain level. Not everybody needs to be black belt. At least, out of 100 people in the organization, 1 person should be black belt. Out of 100 people, 1 person should be black belt. And then black belts are full-time Six Sigma experts. Their whole business is identifying improvement opportunities and then running the project. That is their job. The green belts are part-time experts. They will be having some routine tasks. At the same time, they will devote their portion of their time on improvement. So definitely organization requires black belts, requires green belts, because they are the drivers of Six Sigma project. They are going to lead the Six Sigma project. And in any project, there will be either a green belt or a black belt. A black belt is required if the project complexity is more. A black belt is required if the project is cross-functional. If the project is not cross-functional, then the scope is limited to a specific department and the problem is much simple and easy to handle, then green belt can lead the project. And the team member inside the project, they need to be at least yellow belt. Who is an yellow belt? They know the importance of data, importance of being data driven, having process approach and all those things. Whatever you understood, at least 20% of it the other person should know. Then only you can allow them to participate in your project. Otherwise, they will deviate you from your focus, right? So make sure you only allow yellow belts to participate in your project. If not, encourage them to become yellow belt or green belt, and thereby your organization will start growing. And then everybody in the organization, even if there are 1,000 employees, everybody should be at least given a training to have awareness about whatever we spoke so far. 2 hour, 3 hour awareness has to be given to all the people in the company. If you are not doing that, and operational excellence can only be a talk, right? So, and this awareness level, we call it white belt. Yellow belt, it's a formal training for about 2 days. Green belt is a formal training for about 4 days. And black belt is a formal training for about 6 days. And that is what you are undergoing right now. And then there one level above. 1 out of 1,000 is master black belt. I said black belt is 1 out of 100. Then 1 out of 1,000 is master black belt. Who is this master black belt? He is the person who will develop the KPIs, who will develop the metrics for the entire organization, Organization level, department level, functional level, the KPIs are developed. What are these KPI? These KPIs will drive people, isn't it? Because everybody is working to improve the KPI. And who decides on the KPI? Master Black Belt. If you are one such person, your role, responsibility, your designation, your compensation definitely will be way beyond your imagination, and you will be working very close to the top management, right? And then you will be like, the...
Sir, one question.
Yes.
Sir, is there any difference in course of black belt and master black belt, sir?
See, it is DMAT methodology at all level.
Yes, sir.
Tools are same, right? But the depth of knowledge,
Yes, sir.
the knowledge level can also be classified. You can learn it just to remember.
Okay.
Just remember the first level of knowledge. Generally for LKG, UKG, and first standard, second standard student, they just remember the rhymes and then recollect.
Yes, sir.
The level of knowledge can be imparted just to remember certain things. You can also go to the next level. You know what is the next level? Understand.
Yes, sir.
Third level, apply.
Yes.
You can evaluate others. You can evaluate. And then the next level, you can create a new tool. We created Pareto, we are now using. Can you create a tool for organization? Can you create your own template? Why do you want to use the template which we are going to give? But when you will be able to create the template of your own, which can be of great help to your organization, when your understanding on the subject is deeper and deeper. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So that is what is the difference. And also certain tools are excluded at the green belt level. For example, the DOE is only introductory level at the green belt. But the design of experiments, we will take you deeper in the black belt program. That's how it differs, but fundamentally same. But that doesn't mean that all the programs are same. No, there is a difference. RK sir, you want to add something here?
Yeah. It is just like a doctoral and postdoctoral program. You
Yes,
go
sir.
deep into it, but it doesn't mean that in order to be successful in your lifetime, you will have to be postdoctoral. You can be a graduate. GD Naidu was not even a probably graduate. So that way, please note that we are going to study at different levels, but that doesn't mean that we have to study master black belt and all. If you study master black belt, you got a certificate. That's all. What you already have, the skills you already have, you are just going with the certificate.
Okay.
I want to tell you an experience, my life. I was about to get my convocation, postgraduate convocation. Before that, I got an interview at Howrah,
Yes, sir.
and there I lost all my certificates. I lost all my certificates till my post-graduation. Right. Then I was crying. 1 full year I was crying. Everybody was laughing at me. You don't even know how to keep your certificates. At that time, there was no Xerox also, 50 years back. There are 2 statements made by 2 people, one my mother and one my administrator. My mother said that, Ramki, you are there. You have not lost your life. Right.
Yes, sir.
So that is still valid. So as long as you are there, we can do anything.
Yes.
My administrator said, RK, you lost only certificates. I can help you get duplicate certificates, right? But nobody can steal your knowledge,
Yes, sir.
right? Therefore, these courses you are attending are all only to gain your knowledge. The knowledge is more important. Wherever you get the knowledge, grab it. It will be useful for your lifetime. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank
So
you, sir.
master black belt are like coaches who will create black belts and green belts for the organization. Many people think that Six Sigma means then I should be certified somewhere from a big body. No. If a master black belt exists in your company, then you can be certified within your company. That's the best way. That's the best way. This is how this is what Motorola did. Just repeat the same thing, right? And that's the best thing. But however, the world is looking at in a different perspective, right? And champion, who are champions? These are nothing but the top leadership role whose support is required for the success of the project, because resources have to be allotted as and when needed, right? And there will be a lot of roadblock the team may come across when they are actually, working on the project. There could be a lot of other stoppages and hindrances. And the top management will assign someone and he will be called as the project champion. His role is remove the roadblock and provide the necessary resources at appropriate time. And over and above, there will be someone called project sponsor. Who is project sponsor? The one who has the authority to approve your project. You have made a proposal to do a Six Sigma project, and now who is going to approve? That person is called project sponsor. So the support of project sponsor and the project champion are important for the success of the project, right? And these master black belt, if present, and black belt, if present, can guide the project team member and then, make sure every project produce the expected results within the stipulated time. So there are different roles and skills required at different level to produce results from the project. If this chemistry is not understood, you want to achieve everything with just the existing people, then Six Sigma may end up with just as an attempt. It may not produce the desired result. If you are really interested in produce the desired result, make sure you create this kind of infrastructure before floating your Six Sigma product. So these are the different belt level and the responsibility. And it is the sponsor who will define the project. And he will select the MDB and black belt and the project team member. He will determine the resources. He will orient the team member on appropriate, the streams. And he will review the progress of the project team. And master black belt, he ensure projects are identified in perfect strategic alignment with the organization goal. It's not that you can do any project you want. You do the project which the organization wants, isn't it? So that will be ensured by a master black belt in the company, and he will observe the performance of the team, whether the black belt is producing the results, belt level or not, and he will also coach the team wherever required. And then the green and black belt, they are actually the project leader. The black belt is considered to be the full-time Six Sigma expert. Green belts are considered to be the part-time, right? Your job is not doing improvement 100%. 50% your regular work and 50% is your project. However, a black belt means your bread and butter is improvement, right? You will lead the project. You will help the champion to select the team member, plan the meetings, lead the meeting, handle meeting logistics, and make recommendations and changes. And yellow belt participates in the meeting, help with the administrative task, and meet with the project leaders for reviews, make recommendation, and whatever task assigned by the green belt or the black belt, the yellow belt will do. They will not do anything on their own. They will work only according to the instructions provided by the green and black belt. And you are here. So there are two approach, the traditional one, which every company will normally have, and another approach is the Six Sigma approach, or you can call it even operational excellence approach. And according to the classic business model, the profit is considered to be the difference between the price and the cost, right? And here the belief is better quality means modern technology, modern machinery, highly skilled resource. In short, better quality means higher cost. You expect me to produce high quality product, then I will charge you more. These are the beliefs and these are the philosophies if the companies follow classical model or the traditional model. If people are equipped, if the organization is equipped to believe in Six Sigma, believe in operational excellence, then the beliefs are different. Better quality means better business. And you focus on quality and the results are taken care. Better quality means less defects, less rework, less buffer, less cycle time. Right? See, they are talking about perfection. They are talking about efficient use of the resource. These are the two keywords, right? One is perfection in your output. Another thing is efficiency in providing the input. If the inputs are optimized and the output quality are maximized, and that is the Six Sigma model. So in short, better quality comes with lower cost. In order to produce a high quality product, it is not necessary that you spend more. You can even spend less to produce a highest quality product. And this will create a win-win situation. You will make more profit. At the same time, customer will pay less for your product and everybody is now benefited. This is the major difference between Six Sigma model and the traditional model. So the profit is not just price minus cost. You should also consider investment. What is investment? Only investment can take care of your future profit. Only investment can make you better than you, the competitors, isn't it? Some investment is required. You cannot take away all the profit which you are making. Profit is for you, but don't forget to reinvest it to equip the people in the organization, to equip your infrastructure, to equip the whole organization to meet the future challenges. This understanding is called, Six Sigma and Lean Six Sigma. And not only that, you should do all these things, strictly complying to the all legal requirement, taxes and other things, all the rules, regulations, everything have to be followed. At the same time, you achieve highest levels of quality and customer satisfaction. So far everything is very clear to all of you. Am I correct? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have a simple question. I am showing several cars here. In your opinion, which car is a quality car?
BMW.
Share now. All of you can share. Which is a quality car from your point of view? You can type in the chat box or you can speak out. And I could hear one of you said it is BMW. How about the rest?
All the cars.
Devendra says all the
All the
cars.
cars.
Very good. So I love this answer. All the cars can be quality cars. Because what is our understanding from the first session? Meeting customers' requirement. If you want to say, talk about quality, first of all, you must understand who is going to be the customer. Customer means not just one person, the customer segment. Customer segment, the group of people who may be interested in your product. BMW has got a different customer segment. This Hyundai got a different customer segment. This Renault Kwid has got a different customer segment, isn't it? And according to the customer segment, their requirements are met by the particular car. If Renault Kwid meets the requirements of the segment of its customer, then Renault Kwid can also be considered a quality car. Is my statement correct?
Yes.
So we should not get confused between quality and luxury. BMW, when I ask you which is a luxurious car, then I will agree. The answer can be BMW. When I say quality, quality is always, looked at from the customer's perspective, right? Quality is meeting customers' requirement. So what is quality? Simply stated, quality comes from meeting customer expectation. All of you have some expectation while joining this program. If all your expectations are met by participating in the program, can I say our program is world class? Obviously.
Yes.
The customer segment are happy about their participation. So this is what actually basically drives the definition of quality. So this occurs as a result of 4 activities. First activity, understand your customer requirement. If you look at our program, the first 1 hour is devoted only to understand your expectation. Whether we did it effectively or not, that's a different story. But we have put some effort, some energy in the direction of understanding your requirement. That is the starting point for quality. If you can't even understand what your customer expects from you, will you be able to satisfy him? Definitely no. The first point of quality is understanding customer requirement. What kind of tools, techniques you use to understand your customer requirement? There are several tools you will be learning. Voice of customer, voice of business, Kano model, and all those things will help you to understand your customer better than they themselves know about their requirement. Right? So you need to understand the requirements of the customer better than the customer himself knows about it. It is your responsibility. Because end of the day, you will fail, not the customer. Customer can always go to the competitor, but you have to go to the customer again and again. So it is your responsibility to understand his requirement. Number 2, having understood the requirement, now design products and services that will satisfy, that will meet the requirement. Now you are designing products, designing services. Okay, your design is great. You made the prototype. Prototype also gives a better experience. And now what are you supposed to do? You have to now really go for a full-scale production, full-scale manufacturing. For that, you now will develop process. See, these are only philosophies. You can apply it to any industry. Though we talk in terms of a physical product, It can be a service also. For service also, you require process. For example, I want to avail a loan from your bank. Then you will develop the process. Initially, I have to submit the application form. Then application will be, scrutinized. That's a process. Then somebody will verify the eligibility. Then somebody will give the approval. Then the dispersal actually happens. Everything is actually a process. We need to understand. Develop process in such a way that they are capable of producing the products and services meeting the customer requirement. There is a connection for every line. Second line has connection with first line. Third line has connection with second and first line. The fourth line will have connection with the first three line. You know what is the fourth line? After developing the process, after making it really capable, you need to ensure that this capability is maintained forever. Am I correct? You produced a product, you have done the trial run, the outputs are great. After trial run, what will you do? You will produce several thousand units. You will produce several million units. Do you expect the same result in all several million units? Yes, the consistency is required. For that, you require people in the organization. Only the people, nothing but the employees can manage and control the process that are developed. Managing and controlling the process is a vital task. I hope all of you are doing this only. You manage and control the process so that the process consistently deliver the capability. Please note, capability over time will always go down. For example, some of you were told, sir, I studied green belt some 5 years before. I completely forgotten everything. Why it happened? You were capable while attending the training program, but after 3 years, you have forgotten. So capability tend to go down, isn't it? So it is very important you manage, you assign somebody to manage and control the processes so that the capabilities can be retained. If you take care of this, quality is taken care. Hope all of you understand the importance of all the four statements. And now, ultimately, what is our job? All of us, we're all given different designation, different roles. But what are we doing? We are managing, controlling process to deliver the expected capability. Am I correct? Everything is included, all the designation now included. Now, process improvement means process. You all know process means it converts set of inputs into required output. In order to convert set of input and required output, there are several activities you do in between. Several activities is called process, and the several activity will convert the input into output. For example, training as a process will convert your existing knowledge, right, to a level of level where you will have some added knowledge. The output is the added knowledge. Your knowledge before training and knowledge after training is definitely going to be impacted. That is called the output. And what are the input we use? We use several resources, the training material, course material, the live sessions, 2-3 trainers, and all these things are input. So everything is actually a process, right? You should this process philosophy. Input are converted into required form of output. And this will happen beautifully if you understand the two parameters of the process. Process has got two kind of output parameter. One is effectiveness, another one is efficiency. What is effectiveness? If the output meets the customer expectation, this is called effectiveness. After going through the 6 days of training program, you are so proud of participation. Can I say our program is effective?
Yes.
Obviously, right? If you are able to meet the customer's expectation, that is called effectiveness. That is called effectiveness. You are going to a coffee shop, with a lot of expectation. You order a coffee and coffee is served. You are extremely happy with the taste of the coffee. Now the effectiveness is at its best. The effectiveness is at its best. Suppose you go to the same restaurant, you order a coffee, and the coffee served, you really don't like the taste. Now, what is this issue? This issue is nothing but effectiveness issue, isn't it? They prepared the coffee in a way, but finally, you did not like it. Now, what is the issue we are talking about? Effectiveness issue. You produce a product, finally, customer do not like it. Now, what is the issue you are facing? Effectiveness issue. Ineffectiveness is termed as defect. Any ineffectiveness, any characteristics of your product which customer do not like is called what? The defect. All of you understand what is a defect?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
I explain a concept. Yeah, I explain a concept, but you are not able to understand. Then what is it? It's a defect training program. Am I correct?
Yes.
I am doing a banking transaction. I wanted to transfer 1,000 rupees, but 10,000 rupees is transferred. I lost 9,000 rupees extra. I typed 1,000 rupees, but 10,000 rupees deducted. Now, what is that called? That's a defect. Everything we are talking, is a philosophy. If understood properly, it can be implemented in any domain. Hope all of you understood, what is defect. Now, there is another component, efficiency. What is efficiency? How optimally you are utilizing the resource. Let's say you are going to a coffee shop. You are ordering a coffee, but you are made to wait for 30 minutes to serve a coffee. You are made to wait for 30 minutes to serve a coffee. But after 30 minutes, you are given a fantastic coffee. So effectiveness is not at all an issue. But definitely you will feel bad about waiting for in the restaurant. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So now what is the issue? This is an efficiency issue.
Lesser efficiency.
Yeah, they really they consumed more time to prepare a coffee for you. They were able to achieve the effectiveness, but they were not able to achieve the desired level of efficiency. So what is efficiency? You must consume only the required amount of resource to produce the required level of effectiveness. If you over-consume the resource or under-consume the resource to achieve the desired level of effectiveness, the issue is considered to be an efficiency issue. You take more time to prepare a coffee, or if the coffee is served well in advance before even the customer arrives, these are all efficiency issues. You should do things, when it is required. Only when there is a demand, you must produce, you must supply. No demand, keep quiet, right? So these are all called efficiency issue. Inefficiency is termed as waste. You over-consume a resource or you underutilize a resource, all of them are called waste. What is required is optimal utilization of the resources. What is required? Use that to achieve the desired effectiveness. Effectiveness cannot be compromised, but efficiency must be optimized. Am I correct? Are you okay with both the statement? If you compromise effectiveness, you are making your customer unhappy.
Yes, sir.
At any cost, you must achieve the effectiveness. Once you achieve the effectiveness, then your focus will be on efficiency.
Yes.
Initially, Six Sigma is of most importance. Why? Because you don't want the defect to reach to the customer. Once you ensure, that is why you do a lot of inspection, you do a lot of work to ensure that a defective item doesn't reach your customer, because you want it to be more and more effective. If you are very effective, your customer will be extremely happy, because customer not just receiving a single defective item. Customer is extremely happy. But how about your business? Is that your business owners also happy? What can make your business owners happy is the efficiency of the work.
Yes.
Okay. If you achieve the effectiveness at the same time by working efficiently, profit will get maximized. Then only the operational cost will go down and profit will get maximized. And this is what is Lean Six Sigma in essence. Ultimately, we wanted to improve the effectiveness of the process, improve the efficiency of the process. So what is Six Sigma? Six Sigma is a measure of your capability. You can consider Six Sigma as a metric. If your Sigma levels are high, you are extremely capable. If your Sigma levels are low, then your capability is low. As a result, rejections will be higher. Six Sigma can also be considered as a methodology. What is the methodology we talked about? One is DMAC. Use DMAC to improve the existing process, to improve the existing products, right? And there is another methodology we talked about, DMAD-V. What is DMAD-V? How is it different from DMAC? DMAD is the methodology by which you develop new product by which you develop new process, right? So improving the existing is DMAC, developing the new one is DMAT V. What kind of job you do, accordingly, you can choose. If you are into product development and kind of things, then you must focus on DMAT V, but otherwise all your projects will be DMAT. And it is a way of management. You look at people based on their ability to contribute to the results, business result. If someone is really capable of helping the organization achieve the business result, he should be respected. He should be, allowed to grow fast in the career, isn't it? And that can be done beautifully, if you keep Six Sigma belt level as no way of discriminating people. If you simply trust their age and experience and the educational qualification, you may mislead them. Instead of that, you can discriminate people based on their real knowledge and real skill they have got to impact the business result, which organization wants, right? Six Sigma can also be used as an effective way of managing people. And in essence, it is a philosophy. Whether you are into manufacturing, you are into non-manufacturing, you are into service, you are into education, you are into hospital industry or a banking industry, yes, whatever we discussed are required and that can be implemented, right? Simple customization required. Since you are there, the customization can happen beautifully, right? Trust on your abilities. So Six Sigma means your Six Sigma capability means defects are limited to 3.4 DPMO. What is DPMO? Defects per million opportunities. You produce 1 million output, how many defects are possible? Only 3.4 defects are possible. What is 1 million? 10 lakh. Out of 10 lakh, only 3.4 defects are possible, right? The probability of a defect can happen is reduced to a great extent. So the knowledge of probability. So you should know what is probability. Probability, is a statistical term. We will be more happy to teach you whatever you learned in the school days, right? But you must have some involvement in learning all those things. And then only you will be again able to recall and then use it in your thing. So Six Sigma is all about, measuring the probability of success. If the probability of success is very high, success will certainly happen, right? So we will control the probability of success, control the probability of failure, and we make sure the probability of success, nothing but producing the product within the acceptable level. The probability of producing a product within the acceptable level, if you keep it close to 100%, rejection will not happen, right? And Six Sigma is a metric, Six Sigma is a methodology, Six Sigma is a way of management, Six Sigma is a philosophy. As a result, you will be able to achieve growth in the profit, which is sustainable. You know what is sustainable? It's not kind of magical result. Result comes and suddenly vanishes. That is not the case. If you really understand what is Six Sigma and if you use the methodology and the tools in the right way, your results will be sustainable. If you maximize the profit today, and you will be able to sustain it forever. And the results will become predictable. Predictability is very important. How will you expand the capacity? How will you hire more people? Your business have to be predictable, isn't it? So business will become predictable if you understand the nature of distribution your process follows. If your process is normally distributed, then you can understand what can happen in the next, maybe in the future. If the process is distributed in an exponential way, then the predictability comes. See, all processes will follow a specific pattern. That is what we call it as distribution. If the pattern is understood, that means distribution is understood. Trust me, most of the pattern will be normal distribution pattern. So we are going to equip you only on normal distribution pattern, and we will also convince you on a statement that every problem can be solved using a single distribution, which is called a normal distribution. But we are ready to teach you other distribution also, but absolutely it is not required to master each and every distribution. And this is called certainty. Certainty means you can predict what can happen. When certainty is there, what is the opposite of certainty? Uncertainty.
Probability.
You cannot predict what is going to happen. There are certain process from which the pattern of the behavior of the process cannot be predicted at all. For example, there are many things in the space we are not able to predict, isn't it? So there will be certainty, there will be uncertainty. So wherever certainty exists, we will try to gain control. Wherever certainty doesn't exist, then only we will pray to God. This understanding, is called Six Sigma philosophy. If a certainty exists, then we must understand it. Then we must control it and make the results happen in our favor. If certainty doesn't exist, only that is the time you must pray to God. If you always have the habit of praying to God, you are not doing justice to your job, right? So learning all these things has some sense and importance in business world also. So
I have a question.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
sure.
Sir, in the
Yeah.
metric part, modern, you were talking about, the previous slide. The DPMO, we can call it as PPM also, right?
yes,
Parts per million. And there is a number now, the 3.4. Is it
Yes.
a standard one, or by improving the process efficiency and effectiveness, can we reduce that?
no, this 3.4 is a prediction. It's a prediction. If you improve the capability to Six Sigma level, you are sure that defects will be limited to 3.4. This number is arrived using standard normal distribution in Tuesday class
Okay, not
or wherever
maybe
required.
even if, okay,
Come again,
probably
come again.
as we progress now,
Yeah.
as we progress, probably I will let me understand more and then come back to you.
Sure. See, but I want to be very frank with all of you. See, making you understand how the 3.4 comes, it's a tedious process. If I bring it inside the training program, then many of you will get bored. Many of you may start, disliking our program, and you may not refer your friends and colleagues. We don't want to spoil our business. So I will teach you separately when you are seriously interested, right? There is standard normal distribution.
Tuesday class. You
Open.
can come on Tuesday class. We will
There is a
discuss.
standard normal distribution table, statistical table. In that, I will tell you what is G score. All of you have studied this G score in 11th standard.
Yes, sir.
Z score. The Z score will tell you the probability of success. Z score will tell you probability of failure. When the Z score becomes 6, the failure probability will lead to 3.4 DPMO. DPMO is different from PPM. DPMO works with respect to defects. PPM works with respect to defective. There is a difference between defect and defective. If the item is rejected, it is defective. If you don't qualify in the black belt exam, you are defective out. If you qualify in the exam, but you answer 3 questions wrongly, your score is still 97. There are 3 defects in your answer paper, but still you are not rejected. So your product may have several defects. But if the presence of the defect leads to the rejection of the product, now the product becomes a defective. You can always measure in terms of defects or in terms of defectives. Which is the best way? Defects is best way. You wanted to see that you answer all the 100 questions correctly, isn't it? That's the best way. Simply scoring the pass mark is not a best approach, right? So certain companies measure PPM, certain companies measure DPMO. It's all the maturity level. In my opinion, DPMO is a deeper way of looking at the problem. Right. So Six Sigma is
Sir, just one explanation I want. What is the full form of DPMO? It's a defect per million, and O stands for
Opportunities.
opportunities for a failure.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Right. Nothing but the features which your quality inspectors are checking in the product. Any feature which your quality inspectors are checking in the product are nothing but the opportunities, right? So Six Sigma follows a methodology called define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. What is defined? You can consider that you have defined the problem if you can express the problem in the form of certain number. In Six Sigma, problem is considered to be the Y variable. Y equal to f of x, all of us studied. What is Y? The output from the process.
Dependent variable.
The input that goes into the process. It can be input, sometimes it can be the process conditions. You call it parameters. The process input and the parameters are the X variable and the output is Y variable. What is the problem? Your Y variable is not at the desired level. That is the problem. Am I correct?
Yes.
Variable is not at the desired level. Can you express what? No. Can you express the y variable in the form of a number? For example, my health is a problem. My health. When I say my health is a problem, do you think I have understood my problem, or do you think the doctor can understand my problem? When I say my health is problem, then I have to be more and more specific. I should tell the doctor what is exactly making me unhealthy. Am I correct or not? So
Yes.
doctor will definitely ask me, okay, gentlemen, you are saying that you have a health issue, but tell me what it is. Then I will say, sir, my sugar levels are not proper. The doctor understands my problem. Oh, you are diabetes. Let me check. So if you can express your problem in the form of a number, then only you have understood your problem. Your problem is considered to be defined if the problem can be expressed in the form of a number. The HB1AC is more than 7. That is your problem. I want to bring it below 5.5. That is the solution. But why my HB1AC is above 7? I don't eat properly, which is the input, which is one of the X variable. I don't sleep properly, which is another input. I don't keep my stress level properly, which is another input. Maybe the process parameter, the environment. The environment is very stressful, isn't it? And I don't do any physical activity. That is another input. So your Y variable depends on several X variable. The Y variable is mathematically called the dependent variable. When I say dependent variable, you need to understand you can't adjust it directly with your hands. You can't adjust it. Can all of you adjust your HB1AC level every single day? Is it in your direct control? No. We can't, we don't have any button to adjust that. But we can really control that by adjusting the food habit. That is in my hands. By adjusting the sleeping pattern. That is in my hands. By adjusting the physical activity. That is in my hands. Whatever in your hands where you have direct control, those are called the X variable. All of you understand what is Y variable and X variable?
Yes, sir.
So your job in the defined phase is understand everything about the Y variable. Express the Y in the form of certain number. Instead of saying that you have a health issue, say that your problem is with the HB1AC. Say that your problem is with your overall weight. You need to be very clear with your problem. That is called a define. If you can define the problem, then the problem becomes measurable. Doctor will be happy to measure your sugar level. He may either take some blood sample to measure your fasting blood sugar, to measure your 3 months average, which is HB1AC. Right? And now when you are measuring, it is very important you measure without errors. Am I correct? If the doctor follows an approximate method, will you be happy about the doctor's approach?
No.
You don't want to play with your life, isn't it? Play with your health. So you want it to be very accurate. The doctor has to decide based on an accurate report. Can you do the same thing while doing the project? That is your job in measure. Measure the baseline without error. There are 2 types of error. Always happens. One is measurement error. Another one is sampling error. Not knowing how to measure is called measurement error. Not knowing where to collect data is called sampling error. You all get me? If you don't know how to measure, then the error you are committing is measurement error. If you don't know where to collect the data, that's called sampling error. If I want to understand the behavior of people in Chennai, then I do survey in Chennai. Instead of doing survey in Chennai, when I conduct the survey in Bangalore, will I be able to understand the behavior pattern of people in Chennai? No. That's a sampling error you are doing. So these errors can play in your data and then make your data unworthy for analysis. This should not happen, right? So for that you will be learning certain tools. Yes.
Sir, data measurement can be vary from man to man also, no?
Yeah. Data varies from, yes, it depends on the appraiser, the person who is collecting the data. But you need to standardize to the variation from person to person. Whether you are collecting the data or I am collecting the data should value be same. Isn't it?
Okay, sir.
If I send my blood sample to 2 different labs, if I am tested positive or negative with respect to a particular disease, then both labs should give me the same conclusion. If one lab is giving positive, other lab is giving negative, what can you conclude? So that should not be the case. Yes. So make your data credible for analysis. That is your job in measure. Now you have a credible data. Doctor really understand your problem. Your sugar level HB1AC is 7.2. An average person will have the HB1AC 5.5 and below. 5, where is 5.5? Where is 7.2? The gap in the performance, the gap between the target and the baseline will help you to understand the intensity of the problem. HB1AC more than 7 is a problem. Am I correct?
Yes.
Right? So you gain clarity on the gap in performance only after data collection, measure phase. And now, why there is a gap in performance? Why this person's sugar level has gone up? Is it because of eating habit? Is it because of sleeping habit? Is it because of stress level? Or is it because of something else? Or is it because of combination of all the things? That is called analysis. If you have some other disease, then that may also cause diabetes. So there could be several chances. You need to really analyze and understand the root cause of the problem. Diabetes, nowadays out of 100 people, 50 people have diabetes. Do you think the root cause will be same for all the people?
No.
This understanding is very, very important. Problem may be same. Factory may be same. Product may be same. The service you offer may be same. Still, root cause can be different. You must always analyze to understand the root cause. If the doctor says, yesterday I have seen a patient, for him also, the sugar level is 7.2, for you also 7.2. So you take the same prescription. Will you happily accept the prescription?
No.
It's not going to work for me, isn't it? What can work for an individual may not work for other individual. What can work in my factory may not work in your factory. Right? Simply, benchmarking may not be an option always. So if you really wanted to identify, the root cause, you must learn to analyze. Identify the root cause and also validate the root cause. What is validation? You have to prove that this is the root cause. If you are not able to prove, then the root cause which you identified may not be a root cause. You end up giving a wrong treatment to a patient. Isn't it? That we should never do. So root cause should be validated. An innocent should never be punished. Right? The guiltiness should always be proved. Then only the person will be punished. Same way. If you think that something is the root cause, that should be validated before taking action. You can't simply make changes in an organization with the simple belief. You should be able to prove it. The statistical validation procedure is called hypothesis testing. We are going to teach you. And if you know hypothesis testing, and then researchers will become much easier, right? So analysis, the goal is to validate the root cause. Then you go for the improve phase. Having defined the problem, having measured the problem, having analyzed the root cause, you are really now in a commanding position to talk about the solution. Please don't talk about the solution till you define, measure, and analyze. If you have the habit of jumping into the solution, please understand the methodology what you follow is trial and error. All problems should not be solved, cannot be treated by trial and error method. Definitely the critical problems where the root causes are not known, right? You have to be very systematic. You have to go through all the phases. Jumping the phases simply means your approach is trial and error, where results are very rare. So improve is nothing but fixing the root cause. What is fixing the root cause? Problem is Y variable. Root cause is X variable. If you identify the specific X variable and assign a suitable value to it, that is called a treatment. The doctor gives treatment to the patient. You are also giving treatment to the business problem. What is the treatment you are giving? You are assigning a suitable value to the X variable. What is X variable? The calories consumed should be limited to 1200. The sleeping pattern, minimum 8 hours sleep. Physical activity, minimum 5,000 steps. Everything, you have become very specific. You started measuring, and then, you are trying to assign a value. Assigning a value to all the X variable. If you assign value to all the X variable, you know what will happen to the Y? Y will automatically come to the desired level. This is called problem solving, right? And now the X variable is fixed. As a result, Y variable also fixed. Now, what is important? You might have seen doctors giving, a lot of advice when the patient is getting discharged. Please continue to maintain these habits. Then only your sugar level will not go up again. You should always consider to eat fresh fruits, vegetables, and all those things. You must avoid food from outside. And all the advice why the doctor is giving, the doctor wants you to live longer and then healthier. Same way, whatever improvements you have achieved by the improve phase, you must help your organization sustain the improvement. For that, you should find ways to control the X variable. Why should you control the X variable? X variable only trigger problem in Y. So instead of working on the Y, you are educating your people to work on controlling the X. This is called real experience. This is called process knowledge. As long as you control the X within the desired level, your Y will definitely share in the desired, will stay in the desired level. And this is called control phase. Nothing but you will create a control plan and ask your people to follow the control plan. But how have you created the control plan? With all the knowledge you gained in the define phase, measure phase, analyze phase, and improve phase. Now you will definitely be able to create a control plan. Ask your people to plot some control chart. Keep an eye on the X variable. Why X variable? Some of them are really critical to your Y. If the critical X variables are controlled, your Y will stay at the desired level. This is called problem solving. Is that clear to all of you? We are going to train each one of you on all the phase. Afternoon onwards, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Under every phase, there are 3 simple steps. We are going to take you through step-by-step approach. What is first step in define? Next step in define? Third step in define. So totally there are 15 simple steps. All of you are going to learn. What is that step? What is the deliverable expected? What kind of tools and techniques you can use in each step so that the deliverables can come out at the end of every step. If you are sure about the deliverables at the end of every step, at the end of the project, the results are also deliverable, right? That is the logic. So these are the steps which we will be discussing in detail in the afternoon, starting from identifying the project, still celebrating the success of the project, is covered in the black belt training program, and that's what you will be learning. Right? See here all the 15 steps. So maybe we'll talk about all these steps after the lunch. I would like to stop here. Are there any questions to me at this stage?